Last day of school, they only had 2 hours of school that morning. We had been having our neighbor, I would take the kids into school and she would pick them up at the bus stop and drop them off at the house. That morning, I didn't know that she wasn't going to pick her daughter up. She was going to pick her up at school and not at the bus stop. The kids got off the bus and they didn't have a ride, and they started to walk down the hill, and they heard a car go along the highway. They turned to make sure it wasn't going to turn down the road. When they turned around to look, there was a wolf standing in the middle of the road facing them. And they got a good look at it, and my oldest son, who's 14, I guess he was 13 at the time, took his sister's hand and started off, watching the wolf, started off to the quickest route home, which happened to be through the brushy area. And probably wasn't the wisest thing he's ever done, but like I said, he was 13 years old and wanted to get home as quickly as possible. He went across through, like I said, the brushy area, and he could see as they were going through that the wolf was coming alongside of them. Just you could see through breaks of the brush and stuff that it was still there and it was still coming down. They broke through the brush and didn't look back. They ran as quick as they could into the house and called me. They were scared. We don't get any consideration for the fact that they could come right up to the bus stop again, and maybe we wouldn't be so lucky this time. That wolf was displaying prey behavior, following them alongside like that. I mean, what would have happened if the dogs we had in our yard hadn't started barking and putting up a fuss and noticing something had changed? What if the kids were a little bit further away from home? I mean, people just don't think about. It's great to see a wolf in a zoo. It's great to see a wolf out in the wild. But what we have here aren't wolves. They're not a wild animal. They're hand-fed. I don't see why people think that it's okay to plop their experiment right down in my family's lap and the rest of the people around here. I don't think it is fair. We never asked for it. We moved out here in order to make sure that our kids were safe to go to school. And instead, you worry about your kids getting shot or something in a big city school, but we moved out here to get away from all that and to live out here. And you've got, now they're telling us, maybe you should pack a gun up to the bus stop if you're that worried about it. My father-in-law said, give the kids a rifle. Well, here I am, living out in the country, and now I have to send a weapon to school with my kids to make sure that they're safe coming home.
Most people think that the wolf is like a dog, a friendly dog, and they're anything but that. They can be gentle under domestic handling, but I wouldn't trust a wolf for anything. They're death on livestock and wildlife, and they've really taken a toll on the livestock in this area. Not only the livestock, but they've really taken a toll on the elk also.
How many head of cattle have you lost?
Well, in the past 7-8 years, we lost at least 80 head of cows and calves.
And how much have you been paid for?
I think we probably haven't been paid, let's see, for that many head. We've been paid for about maybe 8-10 head, all total.
So who paid for the rest of it?
Well, we just have to take the loss, and that's it.
Well, how can you survive as a ranch like that?
Oh, it's hard. We just from year to year, just wondering if we're going to be here the next year. They claim they want to turn out over 100 wolves in this area, and they've got 56 collared wolves now, no telling how many uncollared wolves, and they're not counting them, and they want to turn the rest of them out right away. There's no way that a rancher can stay in this country, and a lot of people say, well, that's good, we'd just rather have it for wildlife. Well, wildlife's not going to make it either. These elk, their numbers are dwindling a lot. Take, for instance, last year, we had, a year ago last summer, all our cattle were behind the mountain, and there was a pair of wolves right behind the house here about a mile. And we weren't too concerned about them because our cattle were far enough away, and we could look after what's around the house pretty good. But anyway, this pair of wolves were in there for 2 weeks, and then they moved on and never thought any more about it. Well, that next fall, when deer season rolled around, a friend of ours from Magdalena, he came deer hunting up here, and he come back and he told me, he said, I never seen so many elk carcasses. He counted either 17, I believe 17 or 19 carcasses that he thought were killed within a 2-3 week period. He didn't know, but that's just an example of what they can do.